The elite fashion scene of New York City, where it girls and celebrities rub shoulders with designers and trust fund kids and trust kids. Let's leave it in. And trust fund kids have a ball spending daddy's money like they can't get rid of it fast enough. Until April 2019, Anna Delvey moved through that world like she was born into it. Stylish, aloof, and just enough of a bitch. She seemed every inch the spoiled European heiress, taking Manhattan as her personal playground. The only problem was that it was all made up. I'm Hannah.
I'm Sorokin.
And this is Rich Girl Red-Handed.
The Anna in the dock was miles away, literally and figuratively, from where it all started back in January 1991. She was born Anna Sorokin in the working-class commuter town of Domodedovo near Moscow in the final days of the crumbling Soviet Union. In her New York days, acquaintances would whisper rumors about Anna's father being a Russian billionaire who made his fortune in antiques or solar power. But in reality, Anna's dad, Vadim, worked as a truck driver in her childhood, while her mum owned a small local convenience store. Anna always considered herself to be an only child, as her younger brother didn't come along until she was already 12, and her teenage years brought even more changes, including a move to the German town of Eschweiler, just west of Cologne, where Vadim started his own modest heating and aircon business. The family were comfortably middle class, but an oligarch? Vadim certainly was not.
In Germany, Anna attended a Catholic grammar school, where her peers remember her as quiet and struggling with the new language. Eschweiler was an ordinary, and at least according to Anna, boring suburban town. But even in these decidedly beige surroundings, Anna found joy in one thing: fashion. Long before you could find her swanning around Manhattan hotels and trendy bars as Anna Delvey, young Anna Sorokin was just an awkward teenager like the rest of us in a small town, hungrily scrolling through fashion magazines and blogs. To her family's bemusement, she collected endless issues of Vogue and idolized Marie Antoinette after studying her at school, declaring her a scapegoat, which, kind of. She even got a tattoo in her honor.
A bow.
Tattoo of a bow. It does say tacky tattoo here. But as someone who has a Virginia Hall tattoo, I don't think I can say anything. And far from seeing Marie Antoinette as some doomed icon cautionary tale, Anna took the ill-fated French queen as an inspiration instead, starting by swapping her idea of suburban hell for somewhere a little more glamorous. Because in Eschweiler, the devil wears Primark. Certainly not Prada. And Anna wanted more. And I suppose Marie Antoinette did just show up not speaking the language. She didn't know anything.
Yeah, I think Anna's choice of idol is very telling. Yes, of course, you can say Marie Antoinette was this sort of like, became a figurehead for everything that was wrong with the monarchy. And that's why, ultimately she was torn down and turned into this, if you want to call her a scapegoat, sure. And, she never said the thing about fucking bread and cake. And that was never proven. And apparently she did actually do some quite nice things for the starving people, but not enough to not wear all the fancy jewels and all of that. The fact that she idolizes her is very, very symbolic of how she views everybody else as peasants and how she views herself as being something more. So after finishing school in June 2011, Anna enrolled to study fashion at the prestigious Central St. Martin's College of Art in London. While her parents didn't really get it, they supported Anna by paying her rent and reckoned it was all worthwhile if it made their daughter happy. But Anna's London dream had barely started when, for unknown reasons, she dropped out of uni and returned to Germany. She briefly interned at a PR company in Berlin before making her next big move, this time to Paris. She nabbed a role as an intern at a very la-di-da magazine named Purple, where she earned about €400 a month. The pay might have been a bit shit, but the connections, well, they were priceless. For Anna, this was her very first taste of proximity to the wealthy and creative elite. She latched onto the trendiest, coolest, most popular people she could find like a leech. But Anna was not content to just be a tourist in this world. She wanted to belong. So around this time, she ditched her surname and started calling herself Anna Delvey, which is how her reinvention arc truly began.
Anna first visited the Big Apple for Fashion Week in 2013, and she loved it so much that she decided not to leave. Transferring to Purple's New York office, Anna quickly immersed herself in the city's artsy fashion scene. She dated a self-described futurist called Hunter Lee Soik, whose lucrative startup company gave her access to tech bros, founders, investors, and the inevitable cluster of it girls who followed them around. Hunter later moved to Dubai, shocker, but for Anna, New York was it. She drifted between Soho House-type members clubs, gallery openings, and vibey downtown clubs. The sort of spaces where there was really only one ticket required for entry, money. And the trick is, you don't spend any of it once you're in there. That's how they keep it. And Anna didn't have any anyway. She just pretended to, and that was enough.
Because Anna has always claimed that she never actually said she was an heiress, which is just so untrue. She just said she never corrected anyone when they assumed that. But nobody just randomly assumes you're a European heiress with a massive trust fund unless you are laying down some pretty thick, fat hints at that.
I don't know. I think if you're in that echelon of society where everyone is that,
maybe.
I think you do just assume.
And you have got a bonkers...
Because it's terribly uncouth to talk about money.
Yeah, and you've got a bonkers accent like Anna has. Maybe.
Like, that is the obvious conclusion.
But she's also lying. She did tell people this. I'm certain of it. But she claims that she never told anybody. She just never corrected them when they assumed that she was some sort of European aristocrat or something. Apparently, members of that ritzy social bubble didn't know what Anna's origins really were, but they figured that she must be someone. Maybe it was the strange, like I said, mashed up European accent that no one could quite place, or the way she spoke about her father handling things, or even her haughty, often dismissive attitude towards service staff. Anna often behaved like a spoiled brat, threw money around in a vulgar way, and lacked the polished manners that one might expect of some sort of old money heiress. But rather than giving her away, this all weirdly seemed to add to her legitimacy. It contributed to the mysterious allure of being a sort of old-school European princess. Like her idol, Marie Antoinette, Anna seemed utterly ignorant to the real world outside of her gilded playground.
I went to uni with so many international school kids. They're all fucking like that. I have no problem believing that she slotted right in.
That's the thing. It's just a world I do not understand. I don't know anyone who even fits into that social bubble, who even comes close to fitting into that social bubble. But I can understand what she's saying. I don't believe her. She never told anybody. But I can understand that all the things that are like so bonkers about her and the unbelievably like brash way in which she behaves, people must have looked at her and been like, well, no one would behave like that if they weren't fucking loaded. It's the like audacity she has. And we'll obviously talk about Anna's motivations and all of that kind of stuff later in the episode. But the one thing I find so interesting about Anna and people like her is that if she had just worked hard, like she gets these internships at these magazines, she's a very magnetic person. Otherwise, none of this would have worked, right? She is a fucking con woman through and through. To do that, you have to be somewhat magnetic to entice people to you. She's obviously very smart. She's obviously very capable. She's obviously very driven. She had just done the work. She could have been successful in fashion or in something. But she's like, no, I want it all and some, and I want it now. And it is the ultimate. I'm writing another case that we'll do in a few weeks. It's that instant gratification that the narcissist demands. I don't want to do the work or put in the effort. I just want everything I'm entitled to, but I want it now. And that is Anna's story.
And in New York City, nobody really cared. As one of her acquaintances put it, there are so many trust fund kids running around, everyone is your best friend, and you don't know a thing about anyone. So even when Anna did things that, in retrospect, seemed to break the illusion, like crashing on acquaintances' couches or relying on others to pick up her tab because of emergencies, like forgetting her card, barely caused a ripple in those circles. The whole package seemed legit. There really was no reason to doubt her. And people just figured maybe she had so much money, she just lost track of it. To quote the title of journalist Jessica Pressler's notorious expose piece on Anna, one thing is for sure, Anna certainly wasn't afraid of showing how much cash she supposedly had. She lived out of suitcases in luxury hotels, dined exclusively in Michelin-star restaurants, and downed endless cocktails in high-end bars. She splashed out thousands on faddy beauty treatments like cryotherapy, and even hired a celebrity personal trainer called Casey Duke for $300 a session.
But most striking of all were Anna's ostentatious displays of generosity. At 11 Howard, the hotel where she stayed for several months in 2017, Anna was known to flounce around the lobby like she owned the place and tip staff members $100 bills for the most minor tasks. But those who saw Anna regularly gradually came to realise that while she seemed to have an endless crowd of acquaintances and lackeys, she didn't really have any actual friends. Nefertari Neff Davies, a concierge at 11 Howard, clocked that what Anna really wanted from her was the only thing she didn't already have, and it was her time. Neff and Vanity Fair photo editor Rachel Williams ended up falling into a close-knit friendship circle with Anna very much at the centre. Their girly trio was mainly based on Anna taking them out for swanky experiences like private spa sessions, lavish dinners, and giggly rooftop drinks. The girls noticed that Anna was a bit of an oddball, but her zest for life was infectious. I also think she gets away with being quite odd because she has the European accent.
Oh, yeah.
If she was American and acting like that, I think people would be like, what the fuck? But I think people are just like, oh my God, maybe this is just how, like, European people act.
Totally, totally. And also, I wonder if there was, like, a level of, like, she's so out there that all of the rich people are like, oh my God, she must be even richer than me.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't act like that. There must be another level above me.
Yeah.
Where they're all like this.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I realised that I was essentially Ron Weasley in my school. A friend was telling me that her grandma would correct her not to say pardon, to say what, because common people say pardon. And I was like...
Standing there in your brown dress robes.
Yeah, literally. My hand-me-down jumpers from Fred and George. I was just like, what? And that is...
Were you like, what?
I was like, that...
Pardon?
Yeah, right. I had to, like, it took me about a week to I was like, oh, like, there is a whole other way that people exist that I don't know about. So maybe they're just having that experience.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm New York Ron Weasley.
So yeah, and just to like give a little bit of a context into how people were viewing Anna, Rachel, the Vanity Fair photo editor, who you will get to know very well throughout this episode, described Anna as, quote, the girl who fell to earth. Grandiose, ingenious, one of a kind, and out of place. It very much speaks to like this kind of fish out of water thing that people are observing this person and they're like, of course she's acting bonkers. She doesn't belong here. She's slumming it with us and we should be grateful. Put simply, to everyone's mind that met Anna, there was simply no one like her.
Anna seemed to genuinely enjoy treating her pals. So, naturally, Neff and Rachel didn't protest too much whenever she insisted on picking up the tab. And crucially, that money just seemed like a drop in the ocean to Anna. So surely there was no harm in letting her spoil them. But little did they know. Anna's ocean was barely a puddle. Because while Anna might have looked like she was paying for everything, if you looked a little bit closer, she actually wasn't. She very cleverly met her friends at restaurants connected to whichever hotel she was staying in. She would imperiously tell the staff to put the check on her room. Massive bills racked up on her suite. But for a long time, nobody ever thought to question this glamorous young heiress's ability to eventually cough up. And whenever she did get caught out, she'd try the usual excuses. She'd forgotten her card or her funds were tied up abroad. And if none of those things worked, then she would ask Neff or Rachel to pay for her. And while their wallets felt the strain, they always agreed. After all, Anna had done so much for them in the past.
It is just... audacity is the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the word of the day here at Red Handed.
On Sesame Street.
A for audacity. It is just, it takes a type of person to just be like, yeah, just charge it to the room. Charge it to the room. Knowing full well you haven't got a penny to pay it off. It is just staggering. She really, really is the embodiment of the idea of fake it till you make it in the most terrifying way possible. She is just manifesting all over the place.
But this is it. Like, I think I'm writing something about the enhanced games at the moment. And the fucker behind that, like, is just... Silver Spoon doesn't even cover it. It's like, what happens when you are literally never, ever, 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 ever at risk of something bad happening to you? When you can just be like, oh, chuck us 10 million, I'll have a go. And these are the people that she's aspiring to be, but is also surrounded by all the time. When you've got helicopter money, doesn't matter.
Or and the pretense of it.
Well, quite. But like, that's the... I can see how being exposed to those kinds of people and having the brain that she has, being like, well, why should I? They're all idiots.
It is a masterclass in just not giving a single fuck. And this is also a classic confidence trick, what she is doing here. One that goes back centuries. This idea of like making people believe that you have actually paid for loads and then or given people money and then demanding more back from them. This is classic, absolutely classic. For most ordinary people, just the mention of aristocratic lineage or old money wealth is enough to lull us into not asking too many questions until it's too late. It's all about the confidence. After all, con man is confidence man. And we are dealing with a very, very confident lady here. As long as you have the balls, the bravado, and the personality disorder to do it, these cons, in the words of Anna herself, are so basic. And it is. We've come across so many cases where people will be like, here's a little sprinkling of money I will lend you or I will give you because I'm so rich, I'm so wealthy. And then I'll ask for it back in tenfold 3 months down the line. It's like the Tinder swindler. You know, he does buy her, the woman in it, that blonde Norwegian lady. He does buy her flights and he does take her out to fancy dinners. So she's like, of course. And then when he turns around and said, my cards have been blocked, can you please lend me the money temporarily? She's like, of course, because you're good for it. They're never fucking good for it. It's all about this sort of subtle sleight of hand that enabled Anna to perform the illusion of wealth without actually having to ever prove it. And she probably could have kept coasting along like this for a lot longer. But Anna's ultimate downfall, as we see so often with con artists, cult leaders, and all the other people that we encounter on this show, their downfall is their ambition.
Anna wasn't just in it for the vibes. She had a Marie Antoinette vision. Anna dreamed of launching a private arts foundation and members club because God knows we need more of those. Basically an even more pretentious version of core 5 Hertford Street or Annabelle's, but specifically for art lovers. And she had the perfect spot for it too. Anna wanted to rent the entire church missions house, an incredibly grand 6-story Victorian building on Park Avenue, and fill it with exhibition spaces, pop-up shops, art studios, and upscale bars for Manhattan's glitterati to hang out in.
I'm laughing because I've been watching Owning Manhattan on Netflix, and I think they're trying to now sell this building on the show. And I was just watching it, and obviously I'm still at my parents' house because my house is apparently I'm just doing a grand designs on a fucking mid-terrace house in London. But yeah, like I was there and I was watching it. My mum came in and she was just sat there for a while watching it with me. And I was like, oh my God, when like a deal came in, my mum just like, and then after like half an hour, she was like, is this real? And I was like, yes, mum. Did you think I was just sat here watching a dramatization of a bunch of people pretending to be in a reality show, pretending to sell stuff? I was like, I'm glad that's where you think my viewing level is.
The way we're going with second screen shows, we're not far off. We're really not.
And also, you thought that my reaction to this dramatization was, oh, wow.
Hey, man, patent pending. That's your $1 million idea.
Thank you. I was like, 36 million. But yeah, sorry, I'll let you carry on. But yes, very beautiful building. Very beautiful building.
And also, including a cheeky nod to her roots, a German bakery. And as for what this artsy-fartsy Shangri-La would be called, Anna fretted to her acquaintances that it might sound a little bit too narcissistic. But she wanted to call her Art House Members Club cocktail bar Pretzel House. The Anna Delvey Foundation. Or ADF. And why not? The SS narcissist had set sail a while ago, to be honest. No one's going to tell her no.
No, of course not. Sadly for Anna, a dream like this would not come cheap. The whole project would cost about $50 million to finance. Now, Anna had been going around by this point and telling everyone and their mum that she was about to get full access to her $60 million trust fund in just a few short months. But until then, well, she'd have to go cap in hand and secure a loan from the big boy banks. Borrowing money on that magnitude would be a daunting prospect for even the most seasoned financial pro, let alone a 26-year-old girl from the suburbs of Germany. But Anna, as always, had a plan. Fake it till you make it. And that's when things escalated. And this point where she stops just lying to people and defrauding hotels and lying to her friends, this point where she steps up to the banks is where this whole story escalates from social buffering to full-blown institutional financial fraud.
Anna set out to secure multi-million-dollar loans from major banks to finance ADF. Submitting forged documents she'd knocked up on Microsoft Word as proof of her enormous wealth back in Germany, Anna sent emails from an AOL account in the name Peter Wennick, who she claimed was the head of her elusive family trust, in a bid to convince these financiers that she was the real deal. Incredibly, it seemed to work. She managed to pass the vetting process of respected law firm Gibson Dunn, who vouched for Anna's credibility as a serious player worthy of investment. I feel sick just saying that.
Oh, mate, it is mind-boggling. The idea that you would get yourself in this
This
deep...
is prison. This is prison.
And I'm also like, how? It goes a certain level afar.
I mean, I don't have an enormous amount of faith in our financial institutions, and I certainly don't now.
It's truly mind-boggling.
So, Anna was put in touch with Fortress Investment Group, and the law firm explained that Anna needed these loans because her substantial assets, totaling over 60 million euro, were quite annoyingly tied up in those pesky European banks with all of their, rules. It genuinely looked like Anna was one step closer to making her dream a reality.
But Fortress wasn't just going to hand over the $22 million that Anna needed to set up ADF.
Are they sure? Sounds like everyone else is like, fine, go ahead.
It's weird that she's getting cleared up until the point that she's even being introduced to Fortress.
Yeah.
They said that they needed to carry out the required due diligence, legal checks, and investigations, and that this would cost $100,000. So basically, they tell Anna, you need to cough up that money to us so that we can check this all looks legit. And if it all does look legit, we will give you the 22 million that you need for your project.
I mean, fair enough, because if she doesn't have 100k, just kicking about.
Exactly. And I think this does make sense to me, because if you're borrowing 22 million, giving them 100 grand to get you that, that's like pennies. Why would they take on that risk? Why would they put in the work hours to investigate whether you are legit because you've just come to them and been like, yeah, I'm a fucking European heiress? Of course, they're going to push that risk onto you. Now, Anna doesn't have $100,000, but somehow she managed to convince City National Bank to provide her with a temporary overdraft of $100,000, which she actually used to start the vetting process with Fortress. This, to me, is just so bizarre, because that $100,000 is not a guarantee that Fortress is going to give her the money. It's giving them the money so they can investigate whether she is legit. She knows full fucking well that they're going to find out the truth. So why is she spending $100,000 she doesn't have for them to find out the truth that she doesn't have the $60 million in a trust fund?
I genuinely think she has the ability to just be like, I'll solve that problem when I get there.
Yeah.
This one first. I wish I had a bit more of that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible for well, what the hell am I going to do in 17 years when this exact thing I've invented happens? You know? She's just like, okay, one thing at a time.
Totally. She is very much, she's like a dog living in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think this is also a really, really interesting part of the story. Just the psychology of not having 100,000, getting 100,000 by ill-gotten means, and then spending that 100,000. She doesn't spend all of it. Giving that $100,000 to even start a process that you know is ultimately going to end in failure, because she knows she's not an heiress, right? She knows they will discover there is no $60 million inheritance waiting for her. Yet she managed to con City National into giving her 100,000. Why waste it on this pointless endeavor? And the only thing I think is because she actually ends up giving Fortress $45,000. She lets them spend $45,000 of the 100,000 on due diligence before she pulls out of the deal. Before she's like, no, stop. I don't want you to spend any more money on this. Stop. And it's like, even when she knew it wasn't going to work because she knew what they would find, and even though it actually cost her money she didn't have, she still goes through with it to the tune of $45,000, because I think to her, maintaining the facade of who she is, or who she says she is more important than just keeping that $45,000.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulls out and she uses the remaining $55,000 to continue to fund her extravagant lifestyle. And fuck me, did she need it, because Anna's grifting tactics were starting to catch up with her on the ground. Because you see, there's only so long that the mystique of Anna Delvey could survive on the hazy promise of charge it to my room. Sooner or later, the bill would have to be paid. In early 2017, the pressure began to build for Anna with her stacking debts. Her inner circle found themselves paying for stuff more and more often, and it seemed like Anna had ongoing cash flow issues that never seemed to end. Neff's manager at 11 Howard tasked her with the very awkward job of nudging Anna to settle her unpaid bills that now stood with that hotel alone at over $30,000. I feel sick.
My heart fell out of my bum like 2 pages ago.
Oh my God, it's so despicable. We were literally just having lunch talking about how we both spiral about money issues.
This is not helping.
It is just diabolical.
Actually, no, I'm reframing it. It is helping because
Yes.
at least I'm not doing that.
No, exactly. So Anna had somehow managed to get away with not putting a credit card on file when she had checked into the hotel. And basically how she'd managed to do this is act like she was a business associate of the hotel's owner. And so they were like, oh, okay, of course, don't worry about it, Miss Delvey. Why doesn't anyone check anything? But then I answer my own question, is because she's a confident woman. So when Neff passed on the news that her manager had made her pass on to Anna promised that she would definitely sort it out. And the very next day, she showed up in the lobby of the hotel with an extravagant gift of champagne bottles for all of the staff, but not one penny of that $30,000 that she needed to pay towards the bill.
But if Anna was trying to paper over the cracks with bubbles, which she very obviously is, it wouldn't work. The hotel management got tough, threatening to kick her out if she didn't pay.
I'm sure she got that champagne in some sort of other lie.
Oh, she didn't buy it.
She didn't buy it. So it's not like she has money to buy a bottle of champagne for everybody. Why doesn't she just use that money to settle the debts? It's if I start settling the debts, when does it end? No. We never ever settle the debts and say what, not pardon. Those are the mottos, right? It's like she'll have got the champagne in some other lie by being like, oh, I'm doing a charity champagne fucking auction.
I really do want to buy your wine
kids.
farm, but I simply must have 80 bottles of your finest champagne so I can think about it.
Exactly.
I'd be great at this. If I could get over my crippling fear of lying.
Can you just imagine? I could barely tell a pointless lie to somebody. It's just too much. It's too much. My teeth hurt. Ugh, I'm upset.
Eventually, Anna settled her debts at 11 Howard by depositing $160,000 worth of bad checks and cashing out 70 grand before the banks noticed. It was a trick that she would go on to repeat over the coming months. But just a few weeks later, Anna was still hanging around the hotel like nothing ever happened. They still didn't have a credit card on file for her.
It's bonkers.
And enough was finally enough for the management at 11 Howard. While Anna was hobnobbing with the world's most famous and wealthy investors at a financial conference in Omaha in May, to which she travelled in a $35,000 private jet that she'd wrangled by forging a wire transfer confirmation from Deutsche Bank, the hotel changed the lock on her room and chucked her stuff in storage.
This is what I mean about, had she just actually applied herself to something, she probably could have achieved quite a lot. Like, even to understand enough about financial institutions to commit this kind of fraud, you already have so much knowledge.
When Anna returned from Omaha, she was not happy. Kicking off, she threatened the staff that one day they'd be paying her and announced her intention to take her business elsewhere. And they're like, good, that is the outcome we wanted.
But also pay us all this money.
But before moving out totally, with the net closing in, Anna decided that she needed a holiday.
Telling her mates that she needed to take a break from the US as part of her visa agreement, Anna hurriedly organised a luxury group trip to Morocco. And this wasn't your average Jet2 holiday. Oh no. Anna chose the 5-star La Mamounia Resort in Marrakesh, a gorgeous Riyadh-style hotel that cost $7,000 a night to stay in, and came with his own private butler.
Bloody hope so, for $7 grand a night.
As a car every night as well. Here you go. So while Neff couldn't make it work due to work commitments, presumably to make up for all the money that's been lost for that hotel, the crew ended up being Anna, Rachel, Casey the trainer, and a videographer named Jessie. Still entertaining delusions of grandeur, she was keen on getting some glam footage of her flouncing around bazaars to promote the Anna Delvey Foundation.
Hey man, if it's not on the grid, it didn't happen. Everyone knows that.
But what started as a dream trip quickly turned into the holiday from hell for Rachel Williams.
It all started when Anna couldn't pay for the group's guided tour of the luxurious Jardin Majorelle, putting Rachel on the spot to cover the eye-watering donation of almost $2,000.
Yeah, so I did not understand this because I went on the website for this Jardin Majorelle and I was like, how much is it to buy a fucking ticket to go to this place? Why is it so expensive? What it is if you just want to buy a ticket to go in there, it's like $80.
Right.
Right. What Anna does, because she's Anna, is she wants to book out the entire place and nobody else is allowed to come in. So this is what I mean about how unnecessary this is. She could have just gone in. She could have probably just paid for the $80 to go in.
Mm-hmm.
But no. She wants Jessie to get footage of her in this jardin looking all fancy for the Anna Delvey Foundation. And so she is like, Rachel, just pay the man for something so unnecessary. It just makes it even worse.
Anna insisted that this was all down to a temporary hold and promised to pay Rachel back the second she managed to unfreeze one of her many, many, many European accounts, which must have been blocked for a pesky admin reason when she travelled out of the country. Also, this girl is on a sponsored work visa. They are A, so difficult to get, and B, you have to maintain them. It is so hard. I'm sure it's absolute last thing she's thinking about, but it's really hard to stay on a work visa in a country where you're not working.
I don't know what she's doing by this point because she's definitely not working as an intern or anything anymore. So, like, maybe she's just there illegally.
She has to be because, like, even for... I always find this quite annoying when... in any sort of TV or film, they're like, they transferred me to the New York office. And I'm like, no, you're not worth anything. You're an intern. Why would a company sponsor your visa, which is so expensive and boring, unless you're very important? So, like, I always find it like a bit of a plot hole. But, like, obviously she's pulled it off, so maybe I'm full of shit. But, like,
even the fact that she got it again speaks to her ability to be like, that's what I want. I want to go to New York. I'm done with Paris. Make it happen. And she does.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not working at this point. I think she is very much there. But then I don't know how she leaves, goes to Morocco and comes back. Who knows? She's a very confident lady.
Maybe on private jets they don't look.
Maybe.
Rachel, very, very flustered. She just works at Vanity Fair. She's just a normal person. She handed the garden people her credit card. And then, a few days into their trip, the hotel management began pushing Anna to provide a working card for payment, something she had once more failed to do. An anxious people pleaser who just had no idea what to do next, Rachel felt torn. The whopping bill of $62,000 stared up at her from the receipt.
My God.
Was more than she made in an entire year. But Anna was an heiress, for crying out loud. Surely she meant it when she said she'd pay it back. So, trusting in Anna and all of her lies and her weird Europeanness, Rachel handed over her credit card. And while she didn't know it, that decision would haunt her for years.
That decision's going to haunt me for years.
I was just going to say, it's haunting me right now. Boo.
So, yeah. With the holiday vibes distinctly flattened by the financial drama.
I'd spend the rest of the week with my head in the toilet if I'd done that. Fuck.
Honestly, I just feel sick. I feel sick. I can't even think about it. We have to keep moving. I'd be going looking for those horrible snakes that hang out in the fucking square in Marrakesh. Bite me. Yeah. No one can blame me if I'm dead. So yeah, holiday vibes have gone bad. And so Rachel opted to leave Marrakesh early while Anna stayed on with the videographer. This is, so you pay for the whole holiday and then you're like, I'm also going to leave because I feel so sick. Now, Casey, the trainer, had already left after picking up a nasty stomach bug. But it wasn't the last either of them would hear from Anna on her Moroccan adventures. A few days later, Casey got a frantic call from a Casablanca hotel where Anna was stranded and unable to pay for her suite. Not knowing what had happened with Rachel yet, Casey assumed that there was just a problem with cash flow and agreed to temporarily foot the bill. In an unbelievable display of nerve, Anna even asked Casey to buy her a plane ticket back to the US and make it first class.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God. Come on. She knows. Like, all right, Casey has done very well for herself. Like, she's a very successful celebrity trainer. But still, the like psychopathy, the mentality would have to be like, whatever. Is she honestly delusional enough to think that's not going to ruin a person's life, like Rachel's? Or does she not care? That's the mystery of Anna Delvey. I think she doesn't care.
I don't think she cares. And I think if she ever did, perhaps, maybe at one point, she thought, because it's not uncommon for like mega rich people to have multiple bankruptcies, and then eventually something comes good in the end and they settle everything else out.
That's what she says she was going to do.
Maybe there was a period of time where she thought that's what she was doing, and then she gets in too deep, but because she's not a normal person, instead of realizing that she couldn't go on, she just keeps going, but not out of desperation of like making it happen. She was just like, literally, why would I do a normal job when I can do this?
I'm better than that. I'm better than that. And it's not my fault that everybody else doesn't see that. I know I'm better than that, so I'm going to carry on with this.
I'm investing in myself.
But that's the thing with her. I was going to make this comparison later. A very obvious comparison is to someone like Elizabeth Holmes. It was like, fake it till you make it. I know I will come good in the end. And it doesn't matter who I hurt or who dies or what happens on my journey there. I will get there because I know I will. I know I'm good enough. I just haven't cracked it yet. And fuck everything else. And once I get there, nobody will worry about how I got there. But the difference between Elizabeth Holmes and Anna Delvey is that the stuff that Anna Delvey is doing is unnecessary towards her ultimate goal, as she sees it. Going to Morocco on a little holiday doesn't move the needle in terms of getting you this foundation that you think is going to make all this money, and then you'll be able to like square it with everybody else, right? I'm not making excuses for Elizabeth Holmes, but at least she was just single-mindedly focused on making Theranos work. It was never going to work, obviously not, because everybody told her it wasn't going to work. But here, like, what Anna's doing, she's ruining people's lives for the gratification she gets from like an instant thing like a holiday. Doesn't serve the end goal of her success, other than maybe in her mind the vision and the image of Anna as being wealthy and rich. But come on, that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, I suppose it's the difference between idolizing Steve Jobs and idolizing Marie Antoinette.
That's so true. It's so true. It is true. Elizabeth Holmes is the thinking woman's con woman, whereas Anna Delvey is fucking Anna Delvey. I think that's it. This is why it's very important who you idolize. So anyway, she's like, buy me a first class ticket. I'm coming back to the US. Why does nobody question this? Even if you were like, oh, she couldn't pay for that hotel she's stuck in, let me wire her the money. Who goes on holiday without a return ticket? Why isn't Casey like, but where's your ticket? Why do you need another ticket to come home? Nobody asks any questions. Back in New York, Anna checked into another swanky hotel, this time the Beekman. But after just a fortnight, and surprise, surprise, yet another unpaid bill of $12,000, she was evicted. At first, Anna hopped from hotel to hotel, but those stays only lasted a few days before she was inevitably booted out after failing to cover the cost. I don't know why all these like 5-star hotels in New York don't just have a picture of her, like behind the desk, like do not serve.
Well, like casinos do.
Yeah. And she found herself at this point essentially homeless, roaming around the streets of Manhattan with just a suitcase and her trademark oversized shades. Anna's perfectly crafted house of cards was toppling around her, and her inner circle were finally starting to wake up to the reality of their bonkers, brilliant, brazen friend.
What happened in Morocco changed everything. Anna treated anything below 100k like pocket change, but for her friend Rachel, it plunged her into impossible debt that she just couldn't pay off. For weeks, she chased Anna relentlessly for the money that she'd promised her, while Anna just shrugged it off with excuse after excuse. She sent bogus receipts claiming to show that she'd sent money via wire transfers, which were always mysteriously delayed. Rachel started suffering daily panic attacks as the terrible truth started to dawn on her. I'm not fucking surprised. For whatever reason, Anna was either unwilling or, worse, unable to make good on her IOU. So Rachel had been left to pick up a tab she couldn't afford. Nowhere near.
Eventually, Anna's inner circle cornered her into an intervention-style meeting at a restaurant where they demanded to know what on earth was going on. At this point, they still believed that she was an heiress. But they were starting to suspect that maybe she'd been like cut off by her parents or something, and that she was just too in denial to admit it. Dodging questions about repaying them, Anna insisted everything she was doing was to make her art foundation a reality. And she clung so hard to this delusion that even when news broke that her beloved church mission's house had recently been leased to another client, it had little effect on her. She turned off the temporary waterworks and went blank, claiming it was fake news. Anna seemed to have blinkered herself to the unavoidable reality that ADF was never going to happen, pathetically clinging to her dream. They're literally confronting her with the fact that you keep going on about ADF. The building's been sold. And she's like, no, it's lies, it's lies, it's lies in the newspaper. It's quite a level of delusion.
Meanwhile, Anna's financial situation turned even stickier, if you can believe it. As the loan bids for her pie-in-the-sky foundation rumbled on, emails to Peter Wennick started bouncing back, which prompted concerns from banks. Anna claimed that he died and instructed them to email his replacement, a new fake account under the name Bettina Wagner, in an attempt to stall for time.
Bettina's got to get up to date with all of this.
As if someone who manages an estate has no plan for if they drop dead.
Poor Peter.
Rather than an email forward.
Poor Peter. He died in some horrible rich person way and nobody saw it coming. And now poor Bettina is having to pick up all the slack without so much as a handover document. So you have to, just be patient. Give us some time. What's the richest person way to die? Unexpectedly. Rich person, like Final Destination.
Ooh.
All I can see is golf carts. But that's not...
Golf carts. I don't know, getting some sort of horrible parasite from a really rare caviar.
Oh, yes.
The rarest of the... Or like, eating some of that honey that they found in the pyramids that you can still eat.
Oh, sure.
Something like that.
Because honey never goes off, which I feel like, is that
bullshit.
true?
There's gone off honey in my kitchen right now.
Is it just crystallized? If we put it in hot water, it might be all right.
I've got stuff to do.
Or maybe it's putting some of that forbidden honey on, like, the forbidden meat. Like, they finally got together and, like, ate a person. And then all died. Maybe that's a bit too, like, Epstein-y. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit too, like, what they're actually doing.
Poisoned batch of adrenochrome. That's what Peter Winnecke died of.
And when the investment managers began digging deeper into their mysterious client and the even more mysterious Bettina Wagner... suspicions increased. And when one of the directors from Fortress questioned why Anna's passport, thank God someone's fucking looking at, Border Patrol aren't.
The first fucking thing. Why the first fucking thing you look at? The passport. They've spent $45,000 by this point.
Nobody's looked
at passports. They just had an AOL email account for someone named Peter Winnecke who sadly succumbed to honey poisoning or some shit. Like, it is staggering. What did they spend that $45,000 on?
When one bright spark at Fortress did actually look at her passport, he had to ask the question why it said she was born in Russia.
As a German heiress.
He also threatened to send agents to Germany to investigate who she was. Anna freaked out and hit the brakes. Desperate to press undo on the whole thing, Anna withdrew her loan applications, but the walls of Wall Street were already closing in.
By summer 2017, the NYPD had started investigating Anna after reports began circling that she wasn't actually maybe quite so legit and that she owed money to various establishments. And in July, she was finally arrested while leaving the swanky La Parca Meridian restaurant after attempting a dine and dash, which is just so tacky.
That is tacky. That's more tacky than a tattoo, for sure.
It's very, very tacky. And it just gets worse. Even when she had been arrested for this, because she's not been arrested for the fraud, she's been arrested for running out of this very fancy restaurant. But even after she's arrested in handcuffs, Anna just remains typically haughty and indignant. She just rolls her eyes and asks why the officers are making such a big deal of this. She claimed if they just gave her 5 minutes that she could phone a friend and get them to pay the bill. It was a strategy that had served Anna well in the past. But this time, no friends were coming. A humiliated Anna was arrested and charged with theft of services from multiple upscale establishments around the city, including the Beekman and W hotels. The New York Post ran a frothy headline that caught the attention of Manhattan's elites. Wannabe socialite busted for skipping out on pricey hotel bills. Finally, the bubble had burst. Everyone in New York City now knew that Anna Delvey was a big fat fraud.
But if there's one thing we know about Anna, it's that she does not take no for an answer. In August, whilst awaiting a court hearing for misdemeanor charges, she filed even more bad checks to pocket around $8,000. Like many classy Manhattanites during the heat of summer, Anna hired a posh car and got the hell out of town. But this sweating socialite was not heading for the Hamptons. For months, Anna Delvey went dark. The authorities had no idea where she'd gone. She missed her court date and posted a series of cryptic Instagram photos of her lounging by a pool somewhere. There was one question on everyone's lips. Where the hell was Anna Delvey?
And these summer snaps of Anna lounging about were, of course, a slap in the face for her friend Rachel, who was still, of course, struggling to repay those enormous debts that she'd been saddled with after their little Marrakesh disaster. And unluckily for Anna, Rachel had a sleuthing streak. She recognised details from the photos that placed Anna at the bougie Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles, confirming police suspicions that she'd fled out west.
The Chateau Marmont is incredibly recognisable. It is such a famous place.
Yeah,
like, try a bit harder.
She can't help herself, though. She cannot help herself. I think she knows that, and part of her is like, oh, I am here.
Yeah.
I am on the run, but I am at Chateau Marmont.
I could just go and get an Airbnb in Palm Springs, but I won't.
And I have to tell people I'm here. So she gives it away, and Rachel has figured it out. Seeking justice and definitely a little bit of vengeance, Rachel got to work. Reaching out to Anna, like an old friend, she learned that Anna had checked herself into the famous Passages Rehab Center in Malibu, which was clearly a strategy to hide out from the law, since Rachel wasn't aware that Anna actually had any issues with drugs or alcohol. So Rachel innocently suggested that they meet up for lunch while she was in LA for work. But psych, it was all a sting. Thanks to Rachel's cooperation in smoking Anna out, NYPD officers arrested Anna on the street on the 3rd of October and hauled her back to New York to face the music.
After Anna's capture made headlines, the story went absolutely viral. A glamorous socialite living out of luxury hotels, sipping champagne on jets and pulling the wool over the eyes of New York's wealthiest financiers, and all of it had been total bullshit.
It is a very, very compelling story. Because I think one of the reasons it is so compelling, we'll talk about the victims later on in the episode, is that I think for a lot of people looking at it from the surface, even if you don't like Anna, they also didn't care that much that she had been ripping people off. Because they are thinking purely about the fact that she's ripping off people that can afford it.
Yeah.
As we have seen, that's not the case. But I think that was the image. Oh, she's just gone in and nicked a bunch of stuff off rich people. Who cares?
Yeah. It's not like they're paying tax. It was perfect. Headline fodder, and it also birthed an unlikely anti-establishment icon. There was something impressive about how ballsy this woman was. Now outed as Anna Sorokin, an ordinary girl from the German suburbs, she tricked an entire city and taken what she wanted without apologising. And her October arrest was ideal timing for a slew of fake heiress Halloween costumes. The general consensus was that Anna Delvey might be a con artist, but way to get after it.
It really is that attitude of like, good for her. Good for her.
Which Americans are so much better at than we are.
But needless to say, the New York justice system didn't quite share this attitude. In legal terms, Anna Delvey, or should we say Sorokin, was a fraud and a thief. In 2017, she was officially charged with 4 counts of grand larceny, 2 counts of attempted grand larceny, and theft of services totaling around $275,000. As well as scamming her friend Rachel Williams in Morocco. In December 2018, she was actually offered a plea deal that would have meant she only had to serve a year in prison in New York before being deported to Germany. That is very, very important. They're literally like, we can't be fucking bothered with you. Take this plea deal, you spend a year in prison here, and then you have to fuck off back to Germany forever. But Anna's like, no, I refuse. And she demanded a trial. With what evidence? None, but loads and loads of audacity. It is mind-boggling, and I think the brazenness of this decision tells you everything you need to know. Even then, she doesn't know when to quit. So yeah, she either delusionally believes that she can beat the charges in court, even though she is absolutely 100% guilty, or maybe the other thing is that she wants the fame and attention of a trial. Or both. The key thing to understand about Anna Delvey is that she was willing to risk the outcome of this trial, which would have been way more than 1 year in prison, just to achieve one or either of those goals. So the legal process was very long and very drawn out, with Anna serving over a year behind bars at the notorious Rikers Island jail just while awaiting trial. If she'd just taken the plea deal, by the time the trial started, she could have been going back to Germany. So as for how Anna adapted to her jailbird era, again, this tells you everything you need to know about Anna. Because, again, she is a chameleon. And just like she had slotted into New York City's elite fashion crowd, Anna once again seemed to blend seamlessly into this very different type of private members club.
Oh, I bet she fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the perfect environment for emotionally abusive, manipulative people, is when no one can leave.
Yeah.
I'm sure she fucking loved it.
Absolutely. Because Rikers Island, just that name, is a bit like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
It has a very infamous reputation for having particularly harsh conditions like overcrowding and violence. But Anna just shrugs it off, saying she saw it as a sociological experiment. And despite racking up several infractions while she was there for clashing with other inmates and breaking petty rules, even spending one Christmas in solitary confinement, Anna said, wasn't as bad as people make out. And even behind bars, Anna clung to fashion as a way of expressing herself. She apparently customized her drab jail jumpsuit with any basic sewing tools that she could find, and even helped the wardens alter their own fits. Anna might have missed New York Fashion Week that year, but for her, orange really was the new black.
Anna's trial kicked off on the 20th of March 2019, presided over by Judge Diane Kiesel. And as ever, Anna couldn't resist making a scene. She hired... Who is allowing themselves to be hired by the woman who famously has no money? Anyway, Anastasia Walker, that's who. Anna hired the stylist Anastasia Walker to curate her courtroom looks. A Michael Kors shift dress one day, Yves Saint Laurent top and a Victoria Beckham trouser the next.
I'm sure that Anastasia Walker did this pro bono because she fucking knows everyone was watching this
That's
shit.
true.
And she's like, Anna, when you're out there, if they're like, who are you wearing? You're wearing Michael Kors, which like, But start by me. Start by Anastasia Walker.
Each ensemble was faithfully posted for Anna's rapidly growing Instagram follower count, with details of how to copy her style.
Oh my God. As seen on Anna.
On one famous occasion, Anna actually threw a strop and refused to go into court at all, because she didn't like the court-ordered prison garb that they had asked her to wear.
Yeah, in a documentary about this case, she wants to wear stilettos.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, you can't wear stilettos. And she's like, well, why? I'm not going out there then. You're trying to strip me down to make me look like a prisoner, which is obviously prejudicial.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why. They're like, it's a very stabby piece of footwear, and that's why you can't wear it.
Anna treated her trial like a spoiled model on a runway, and that may have amused her adoring public, but it did not win brownie points with the judge. Judge Diane Kiesel slammed Anna for her bad attitude, noting how she seemed more concerned about who would play her in a future film rather than the harm she was causing to her victims. Yeah, duh. Throughout the trial, Anna seemed bored and lacked even a single crumb of remorse. She even admitted in a mid-trial interview, I'd be lying to you and to everyone else and to myself if I said I was sorry for anything.
There's another interview I watched with her that's like after the trial. It's like years later.
Mm.
And she's being interviewed for, I think it's Australia 60 Minutes. And they're like, you know, where are you now? And she's like, I've learned so much. I've learned so much. And I'm like, that's not a sorry. What you mean is, when I do it again, I won't make the same mistake. That's what I heard. I won't make the same mistakes I made last time because I've learned so much.
Just knowing the people who were at the top, they just, I don't know. It's like they did not strike me as too smart or like too talented.
Let's stick with the trial. Because this whole like, I'm not sorry about anything. Well, that changed on the 25th of April 2019, when after 2 days of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict. Anna Delvey was unsurprisingly found guilty on 8 charges of grand larceny in the second degree, attempted grand larceny, and theft of services. She was crucially, however, not found guilty for allegedly stealing those $62,000 from her former friend Rachel Williams in Marrakesh.
That's the only one I care about.
I know. And I feel like the police and the prosecution only really tacked it on because Rachel helped them catch her.
Yeah.
I don't think they really cared about. Not that like they're heartless, but it's we've seen this when we did Filthy Ritual. Go listen to our series Filthy Ritual. That unless the money reaches like a really, really like staggering amount, it's just not something that they take seriously when it comes to fraud.
And also it's similar to Filthy Ritual in that those people did give Juliette de Souza that money. For all they knew, she did what she said she was going to do with it. In this case, Rachel didn't have to give her the money. She did because of all of the scams and because she believed she would get it back, but it's not technically fraudulent in the same way.
And I think it was, the only thing you could argue was that she said Anna was going to give it back to you, but I think it would have been a stronger case had Rachel not been on that holiday. If Anna had just been on that holiday and then phoned her and been like, can you pay this? I'll pay you back in a couple of weeks. But because Rachel is also there, I think the jury would have had a hard time, as much as they would have probably empathized with her, of like, but you were also there and nobody made you go.
Yeah.
But I do feel very sorry for Rachel. Now, after hearing these verdicts, but before sentencing, Anna did change her tune slightly. She made a very half-assed apology for her actions.
I apologize for the mistakes I made.
Now, Anna's family also submitted a letter to the judge claiming that their daughter had made some mistakes but didn't deserve to be behind bars. Instead, her father, Vadim, urged the judge to just deport Anna back to Germany, where they could find her an honest job in the family business. But Judge Diane Kiesel was unimpressed. With Anna's form for faking communications from made-up trust fund managers, how was she meant to believe this letter from her family was the real deal? Ultimately, Judge Kiesel came down hard on Anna, sentencing her to between 4 and 12 years in federal prison. She was also fined $24,000 and urged to pay hefty restitution fees to the various financial institutions that she had conned out of money. And the judge hoped that this would be a lesson for Anna's fans outside the courtroom, that crime, even when it's committed against fat cats, doesn't pay.
And actually, in the end, way lighter than anybody expected. Anna was released on parole in February 2021 for good behaviour after serving just 19 months behind bars. After her release, she immediately checked into another ritzy Manhattan hotel and hired a camera crew to follow her around.
This is when it goes like Firefest style. She's like, I will tell my story.
Anna wasn't sure what she was going to do with the footage, but she was already gearing up for her second act. However, Anna's newfound freedom was short-lived. Just 6 weeks later, she was rearrested for overstaying her visa and taken into ICE custody to await deportation to Germany. Anna launched a legal appeal that, if you can believe it, is still going on today. For Anna, she would take cell blockature over the German countryside any day of the week. Held in an ICE detention centre in New Jersey, Anna moaned to the press that Germany was worse than jail. Look Angela in the eye and say that, you will die instantly, just evaporate.
But even in an orange jumpsuit, Anna wasn't going to let her 15 minutes of fame end. And here is where things get murky, legally speaking. New York has what's known as the Son of Sam law. Introduced after 1970 serial killer David Berkowitz raised fears that he might profit by selling his story to publishers. The idea was simple. Criminals should not be allowed to cash in on their notoriety while their victims are left with nothing. After money-hungry publishers fought back against this rule, a revised law was made in 2001 that meant convicted felons could receive payment, but any sums over $10,000 must be declared and redirected to pay off their legal costs and restitution fees.
And to get round that, follow the O.J. Simpson method of just making sham companies and having your children run them.
Yeah. And not being convicted of the murder you definitely did. Now, the state of New York hadn't actually had to use the new law, ever, until Anna came along. Less than a fortnight after Jessica Pressler's viral article in The Cut was published, streaming giants Netflix bought the rights to Anna's life story for a whopping $320,000. They do not miss a beat.
So Anna was right
Oh, yeah.
in the end.
Who am I to question Anna? Because, yeah, she nailed it. And this prompted the New York Attorney General to sue Anna under the Son of Sam law, seeking to block payments, including a $70,000 lump sum and a $15,000 per episode consulting fee. And also, just to, sweeten the deal, a $7,500 per episode payment in the form of royalties.
Anna, who is your agent? Can I have their number?
The court agreed that most of the money should go towards repaying the banks that Anna had targeted. But it wasn't all shabby for our fraudster fashionista, because she was still, after all the restitution that she had to pay, left with a tidy $22,000 after all her costs were paid. The resulting TV adaptation, Inventing Anna, premiered in February 2022 and was Netflix's most watched show that week, notably featuring Julia Garner, who absolutely nails Anna's very bizarre hybrid accent. Julia Garner is a fantastic actress, and she is particularly standout in this. Have you seen Inventing Anna?
I've seen
enough.
I do not have time for this. I do not have time for you.
It's so good. I actually want to go home and watch it again. It's so, so good. Julia Garner, smashed it. I'm obsessed.
To no one's surprise, Anna's get-rich-quick schemes didn't end with Netflix. If anything, they just encouraged her. In 2022, she signed a deal with Bun and Murray Productions to star in a future reality series about her life after prison, like Gypsy Rose. Which hasn't come to fruition yet, but just you fucking wait. But most bizarre of all was Anna's so-called artist era. In March 2022, while still in ICE detention, she collaborated with artists to put on a pop-up show named Free Anna Delvey in Manhattan. Anyone who went to that deserves to get scammed. The exhibition was based around Anna's prison drawings, which looked like they were done by a precocious 10-year-old, and each piece was listed at $10,000. Another show allegedly launched in May that year, featuring works from artists inspired by Anna's story, and made a big splash in the New York hipster art scene. The organisers lauded Anna as a disruptor and visionary who represented the post-isolation era of the prankster and the absurdist.
These people deserve it. They deserve it. Oh my God, it's a racket. Look, this is her drawing.
I don't want to look at it.
Look at it. Everyone look at it.
That's the next installation, is just you forcing me to
look at it. These fucking hipsters, man, they deserve it. I'm glad you all got conned.
And they're also doing exactly the same thing, because they're following the same law of celebrity shit sells to the shit munchers like you. Like, that's what they're doing.
Absolutely.
In June 2022, Anna launched a collection of NFT tokens.
Remember those?
No, I deleted them from my brain on purpose.
What was the most anyone ever paid for an NFT? That was the breath
I don't want to know.
leaving my body. Sweet baby Jesus. Hannah, please guess. The most expensive NFT ever sold. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called The Merge by Pac. It was an artist, apparently. Do you want me to show you a picture of it?
Sure.
For our audio-only listeners, we are on YouTube. You can go watch this on YouTube as well. For our audio-only listeners, it's a black background with a white orb on it. Just a plain white orb.
It's shit like this that breeds Anna Delveys.
Yeah.
Like, when we're in a world where people are doing this shit with a straight face.
Absolutely.
I can totally see.
That is why Anna Delvey is a creature of our making. It's a creature. She is a reflection of everything that is wrong with our society, and this obsession with consumerism and image, and like an obsession with what's cool and blah blah blah. Oh, this is embarrassing. Please guess how much it's worth so we can get on with our lives forever.
75 billion.
Okay, less. $91.8 million.
Oh, good.
That's more than Anna Delvey even pretended to have. Oh my God.
Anyway, her NFT was called Reinventing Anna. and it gave buyers exclusive access to her with perks like phone calls to her behind bars. Anna told the press that it was a way for her to tell her narrative on her. And as Anna admits herself, it is truly ironic how her criminal status has made her a bigger name in the art world than she ever was when she was trying to build a foundation.
Of course it has.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you've got a bunch of fucking stupid elite people and stupid hipsters and people with too much money sat around pontificating about who Anna Delvey is.
And if you're in jail, you've got nothing but time to come up
Absolutely.
with NFTs.
In October 2022, Anna was finally released from ICE detention, although she wouldn't be sashaying through her old stomping grounds anytime soon. She was placed under 24-hour house arrest with electronic monitoring to be served in the 470 square foot apartment that she was renting in the East Village. At first, she was also banned from social media, although this was eventually lifted. Over time, Anna's house arrest restrictions also eased to allow her to travel up to 75 miles. And believe us, her ankle tag did nothing to slow down the juggernaut that is Anna Delvey.
75 miles?
That's a long way. That's a long way.
That's like to Birmingham.
Yeah, it's like half this country. Where is she? Why? I guess the US is bigger, but still. So after appearing on every celeb-adjacent podcast that she could get her mitts on, in 2023, Anna launched her very own venture, The Anna Delvey Show. In September that year, she even staged a New York Fashion Week show from her apartment for the designer Xiao Yang, which, like, that's quite smart.
At this point,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Do whatever the fuck you want. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows what you've done. Everyone knows what you're capable of doing. So
Yeah.
anybody who is collaborating with her at this stage is doing it with their eyes wide fucking open.
Yeah.
So anything that befalls them, they deserve.
I completely agree. In 2024, Anna co-produced 3 more fashion shows and even modelled in some of them, cheekily showing off her ankle tag on the runway.
Lindsay did it way before you. You're not a disruptor.
These ventures are part of her ongoing partnership with publicist Kelly Catrone, who's described Anna as a genius performance artist. Kelly, anything that happens to you, any money she steals from you, you had it fucking coming. You're asking for it. Now, Elle magazine has noted that in today's fashion world, staging viral moments is just as important as designing the clothes. And that's where Anna shines.
And also the truth. And in September 2024, Anna Delvey courted controversy in an unexpected way.
Say it.
When it was announced that she had been cast in the new season of Dancing with the Stars. How did Anna manage to wangle a TV show appearance while fighting deportation with the notoriously brutal ICE? Again, who is your agent?
It's because people are giving her attention. She's getting attention left, right, and centre. People are obsessed with her. People can't get enough. And so, of course, like, I'm trying to think of the equivalent of if it bleeds, it leads. Like, what is the equivalent here? If it's Anna, it's gonna make you some money. I don't know. Come on, it's Anna.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
So, whilst making a complete joke out of the system and inspiring outrage the nation over, completely unbothered, Anna Delvey danced a quick step inspired by The Devil Wears Prada, making a feature out of her ankle tag that she had encrusted with rhinestones.
Beautiful.
Yet again, Paris did it. But in an awkward twist, Anna had to hang up her dancing shoes early because she was voted out in the very first week, and that is humiliating.
I love that. Good work. Good work, voters.
In classic Anna fashion, she dryly commented that she would take nothing from her Dancing with the Stars experience and that her favourite part of the whole thing was getting eliminated.
She is the ultimate troll. She's like, whatever. My favourite bit was when you voted me out. Fuck you.
Great. Only had to do 1 week. Dancing's really hard.
I'm actually so busy anyway. Like, I did actually say before I came on here that I could only do 1 week. Now, despite everything, Anna hasn't completely burned all of her bridges. Neff Davies, if you remember, the friend who worked at 11 Howard, says that Anna is her friend and always will be.
Why?
I will tell you. She explains that lack of saltiness, at least in part, to the fact that she was able to leverage her friendship with Anna for clout.
Fair enough, yeah.
After bagging a cushy consulting gig on the show Inventing Anna, Neff joked about Anna, saying, "Thank you for committing your crimes because it got me on a Netflix set." And then you've got celebrity trainer Casey Duke, who also turned the other cheek, shrugging that Anna did her time and now she should be allowed to do whatever she wants with her life.
Did she? She did 19 months.
Here with Casey, she is a very successful and wealthy person in her own right. So I think the money that Anna cost her, like, paying off that hotel in Casablanca and buying her a first class ticket, it didn't really have like a life altering impact on Casey. So I think she's just like, I don't want to get dragged through the mud. I'm sure her association with Anna probably got her even more clients of people being like, what was she really like? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't think she cared. Now, the same can't be said, however, for Rachel Williams. While she eventually did somehow get her money back from American Express, which I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? Apparently it was a really long and exhausting battle, but I'm like,
I bet.
why? I'm glad she did, but why? There was nothing, she didn't pay for something that turned out to not be the thing she paid for.
Yeah.
She paid for a hotel that she stayed in. She just wasn't expecting to pay for it. So I don't know how she managed that, but she did. But Rachel, other than getting the money back, has said that the ordeal with her ex-bestie has left her traumatized with emotional scars. Rachel even wrote a book called My Friend Anna, which was released shortly after Anna's trial in July 2019, where Rachel reveals how Anna's deception almost ruined her life.
Still, despite Rachel's best efforts, Anna has paradoxically emerged from her story as an unexpected Gen Z role model, with several high-profile figures defending her actions. Julia Fox.
Who is Julia Fox?
She went out with Kanye for a bit. She was in Uncut Gems.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's got a very distinctive face, I remember.
Julia Fox argues that Anna only did what rich finance bros have been doing for years, borrowing money that they don't really have to fund their project. And while that's true, they do have money somewhere. They have credit cards that go through. How they pay off those credit cards is someone else's problem. It's not the same thing.
Yes, of course. The whole thing that happened with the subprime mortgage crisis, all of that was banks trading with money that they didn't have in order to do things, and that ultimately led to a big crash. But like, I think to compare the two and to be like, well, who cares what Anna did and who cares how many people's lives she ruined? I'm just like, it's so like flippant.
Yeah.
You can say that what she's doing is the exact same as what the banks have done, and all of it should be condemned. Not that, well, if they're doing it, then why can't she do it? Well, then why can't everybody do it? Why can't we all be little fucking psychopaths that steal money off each other, you know? It feels like the moral bar is set so low, and it feels like a race to the bottom when we start saying things like that.
Well, yeah. Anna's exploits blew a hole in the hollow facade of the wealthy elite, exposing how easy it is to fuck over a system that's built on bluffs and loans rather than actual cash. If you're hard enough. Like if you've got the steel
Absolutely.
to just hold on just long enough, which I absolutely do not.
No, just long enough and then some.
Yeah. As Anna puts it, capital isn't as important as intelligence. So, if the top banks were stupid enough to lend her money, is that really her fault? And you could argue there's an inspirational element to her story. I agree, begrudgingly, but the only thing I admire is the absolute spherical size of her balls. She is living proof that you can fake it till you make it if you manifest hard enough and don't go to Morocco.
Again, I can't help but, and I know this isn't in her DNA, but like I can't help but come back to the idea that she is brilliant. It's like how people who are evil can still be brilliant. I'm not saying Anna's evil, but you know what I mean. Like you can be a bad person and still be brilliant.
Yeah.
She is. But she applies herself in the most nefarious ways and in the most ill-gotten ways to achieve what she thinks she deserves as quickly as possible rather than taking the right route, which is to work hard. I'm sad that people see this as an inspirational story, and it is reflective of the fact that if you go into any average classroom these days and you ask kids what they want to be, they're not like, oh, I'd like to be a nurse or a teacher or a doctor or an engineer. They're like, I want to be a footballer, I want to be a YouTube star. And it's like this culture of instant success and instant gratification. And I'm not saying either of those things, a football star or a YouTube star, is instant, but that's how it's perceived. And I think that's sad. I think it feels easy to get behind, for some people at least, the cultural recasting of Anna as this kind of anti-establishment folk hero. A kitschy sort of like girl boss icon who stuck her middle finger up to the man, stealing from the rich like some sort of Robin Hood in Celine sunglasses. But, as Rachel Williams points out, Anna wasn't motivated by some sort of Robin Hood altruistic nobility. She wasn't even doing it to point out the holes or the flaws or the hypocrisy of the banks or the elite. She wasn't trying to dismantle the system or make a political statement. She just really wanted to be part of that world. She wanted to feed from the same trough they were all eating at.
And while her shenanigans have tended to be dismissed by most as a victimless crime, that's not true. Rachel's story alone is proof that beyond the banks, which, like, sure, I don't give a fuck about them either, but real people, ordinary people, got really hurt, and she probably has never recovered financially or emotionally. So there are 3 types of victim in the Anna Delvey story. Each one is driven by something else when it comes to how and why they fell for her bullshit. Number 1, there's the legitimate elite. For these people, Anna carried herself with the arrogance and sort of rules don't apply to me pretentiousness that they recognised. And also the confidence with which she pulled off that attitude gave her the keys to their shallow, frankly quite foolish world.
That is the word I think when I think of the elite that she stole from or conned. It's foolish. Then you have number 2 on the list of victims. You have the hotels, restaurants, and bars that Anna conned. Or specifically, we should say the people who worked front of house in these places. Because it's not like she's actually conning the institution, she's conning the person who's in front of her. Anna used that attitude of impatience and how dare you, with a few $100 tips thrown in and bottles of champagne, to make them flip-flop from fearing her outbursts to wanting the perks.
And then there are Anna's friends, who overlooked her less than desirable behaviour to feel close to greatness, wealth and celebrity, to feel special and chosen and closer than ever to the elite. They were taken in by it all because those things can be very alluring. And we do live in a world that makes it really easy for people like Anna to keep on hustling. Even with the Son of Sam laws technically limiting the amount of money that goes into Anna's pocket, the fame that Anna has milked from her story is priceless. She's getting more free shit now than she ever has in her whole life.
It's literally when people say, that's PR money can't buy. This is what it
is. Yes, yeah, that's true. By turning the fake heiress label into a brand, Anna has bought herself access to the exact same bougie circles that she conned her way into before. And they don't care. This is the thing. Yeah. They don't care that that's what she's done. So take them, fine.
So let's end this episode by talking about Anna's motive, because I find it really fascinating. Anna is often described by people as like a classic con artist, which, like, yes, okay. But to me, is she? Because she doesn't like steal a bunch of money and just run off into the sunset. She's not just like filling her boots and being like disappearing and like going and running the con somewhere else under a new name or whatever. She's not always on the make for money. With Anna Sorokin, it's all about image. She needs the money to become who she believes she already is. I think Anna decided, probably quite young, that she was important and that she was a big deal. All she has to do is convince everyone else of that. I think she truly believed that she just had to be who she was, commit to the act, and the money would follow. You know the thing when people say, like, dress for the job you want?
Yeah.
She is like, be the person you want. Be the person you are, and everything else will fall into place. Her constant shrugging off of, why are you making such a big deal out of this when she's called out about the money? I think to me feels like she's saying money isn't really what makes you elite. It's a vibe, it's the class, it's the taste, it's the fashion, it's the art, the appreciation of finer things in life. Anna genuinely, truly saw herself as elite. And the fact that she didn't have any money, that's just like a boring side note. Who cares about that? I've got everything else that matters when it comes to being elite. I don't have the money. But like, I think in her mind, the money, anyone can get that. That's the easy part. Money can't buy you class. But in Anna's world, class, or at least what she perceives as class, was going to buy her money. And I think that is the best summary of Anna Delvey.
And she's right.
Yeah.
You can't argue with it.
No. It's a very, very interesting story, a story of our time. I know people say that all the time, but I genuinely think this is. It's a case that is like an absolute microcosm of everything that is wrong.
Oh, it's a real reflection of how far we've fucked it.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. You learned something, the true story behind Netflix's Inventing Anna. And, like, follow, subscribe, do all of those things. Share this podcast with your friends if you wouldn't mind. And just generally maybe do all the things you would do to support a podcast that you enjoy. And we will see you next week for another episode. Goodbye.